Imagine this. Steph Curry, the greatest three-point shooter ever, the engine behind the Warriors dynasty, the legend, walked into finals after finals and left without the MVP award he deserved. In 2015, Iguodala got it. In 2017 and 18, Durant took it, overshadowing Curry's brilliance. How is it possible that a four-time champion and leader of three different Warriors teams didn't earn finals recognition until his sixth appearance? Today we dive deep into the snubs and how Curry finally shut everyone up when it mattered most, when his legacy was truly on the line. By 2015, Stephen Curry had taken over the league with his brilliance. He was MVP. He turned the Warriors from a forgotten franchise into a 67-win juggernaut. This wasn't just a good team, this was a revolution in NBA, the birth of the pace and space era, the rise of the Splash Brothers, the Steph effect. So when the Warriors beat LeBron's Cavaliers in the 2015 finals, Curry, the dominant league MVP, the offensive engine, the heartbeat, was the obvious choice for finals MVP. Except he didn't win it, not even close. He did not get a single vote out of 11. The trophy went to Andre Iguodala, and sure, Iguodala had a great series. He brought veteran leadership, big plays, and effort on both ends. But the numbers? Curry averaged 26 points, 6.3 assists, and 5.2 rebounds, and 1.8 steals per game. He dropped 37 in Game 5, basically putting the Cavs away. In the meantime, Iguodala's stat line was very role player level. 16.3 points, 5.8 rebounds, and 4.0 assists, politely saying. This wasn't just a snub. It was controversial at least, and it started a pattern. How was that possible? Did they watch something else than all the basketball fans around the world? Okay, we understand. Iguodala was great, not taking anything away from him, but he is the only finals MVP in entire trophy history who won it without starting even all finals games. Iguodala's first start in finals was in Game 4, but was named the finals MVP for his instrumental defense against LeBron James, who still led the Cavaliers' charge with 35.8 points per game. How was it possible that the clear leader of the team, dominant league MVP, the rising superstar, was snubbed? Here's the situation that gets even more weird. The Bill Russell NBA Finals Most Valuable Player Award is decided by voting of 11 media members. And in 2015, Curry did not get a single vote. LeBron James, being on the losing side, even got 4 votes of 11. Just look at this list of voters and who they voted for. Very weird, right? The big question is, why did the media look away from the young face of the NBA and the guy who changed the way the game is played? Unfortunately, we would not find one clear answer. Obviously, the league was not ready for the type of new era basketball that was representing Curry. Possibly, they thought it was a fluke, one season wonder. Just think, a 6'2" unathletic point guard raining threes from anywhere in a mind-blowingly dominant team. Well, that might not be the most popular guy among old-school basketball media representatives. There was a clear clash of the narratives that led to robbing Curry of the Finals MVP trophy. Curry did not say a word. He just stayed humble, kept working, prizing the team, people around him, and kept winning. 2015 was just the beginning of Curry's uphill battle against an old-school, flash-obsessed narrative that never quite understood his unselfish brilliance. Next time, when the Warriors won it all, Curry was snubbed again. After the heartbreak of 2016, the record 73-win season that ended in epic collapse, the Warriors did something unexpected. They signed Kevin Durant. Couldn't beat him, so he joined him. And if you want the full story, check out our Kevin Durant video. Just imagine, after 73-9 season, being short just by one game to win it all, they signed another future Hall of Famer. And overnight, they became unbeatable. The 2017 and 2018 Warriors were so good that it was a right time for the fans to start their feud on whether Jordan's Bulls would be able to beat this unfairly stacked Warriors super team. 4 All-Stars, 2 MVPs, an offensive system no defense could solve, constant movement. And at the heart of it all, Stephen Curry. Not the loudest, not the tallest, but the system flowed through him. His off-ball movement, his gravity, his sacrifice, he was spectacular. In 2017 Finals, Curry nearly averaged a triple-double. 26.8 points, 9.4 assists, 8 rebounds per game. He was the engine, drawing double teams, setting tempo, making the right reads. But who got Finals MVP? Kevin Durant. Why? Because Durant scored more. Because he hit the dagger in Game 3. Never mind that Steph's presence made those shots possible in the first place. Okay, we can agree maybe 2017 made sense. Durant was at the top of his game, totally focused, dominant, and he had something to prove. Stats really were giving Durant an advantage. Just look at his stat line. But then came 2018, and it happened again. Curry was red hot. He averaged 27.5 points, 6.8 assists, 6 rebounds per game. He opened Game 2 with a Finals record 9 threes. Durant had the big Game 3, but Curry had been consistently brilliant, leading Warriors without Durant to 2 Finals and 1 championship already before. Still, MVP went to KD again. And here's the irony. The Warriors would not become a dynasty without Steph Curry. Durant joined Curry's team. Was the Finals MVP stolen from Steph again? If 2017 had some asterisks because of Durant's brilliance, then 2018 should have been Curry's year. But it was not. Could it be that this Warriors team was so loaded and deeply functioning like a Swiss clock that his brilliance was left ignored by the same 11 media representatives again? Steph was the one who set the tone, who kept the locker room balanced, who accepted a smaller spotlight so the team could shine. Now, the Finals MVP conversation wasn't just a snub. It was becoming a strain, a weapon in every debate. 4 Finals, 3 rings, no Finals MVP. The pressure in doubting Steph's legend status and legacy started to grow. How was it possible that he was leading one of the greatest teams in NBA history and still be undervalued during the Finals? Honestly, there is no clear answer, just more questions. Would he get his chance again? Will his legacy be complete with one missing piece? But first, he had to watch everything fall apart. 2019 was the year Curry finally had the final stage to himself. Durant taken out by devastating injuries, no sharing the spotlight, just Steph and the weight of a dynasty on his shoulders. The Warriors had clawed back to the finals for the 5th straight time, but this time, the team was breaking apart. It tested Curry's leadership in full. During the finals against a very balanced Toronto Raptors, led by one of the best NBA defenders ever, Kawhi Leonard, Durant tore his Achilles. Later in Game 6, Klay tore his ACL. And Steph? He answered the call. He averaged 30.5 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds in the finals, including a memorable 47-point effort in Game 3, the most by a guard in a finals game since 1993. In Game 6, Curry's three-point attempt to force a Game 7 narrowly missed, and he was visibly crushed. Some pundits noted this dropped Curry's finals record to 3-2 and resurrected chatter that he needed a finals MVP to validate his legacy. The mighty Warriors dynasty had fallen after 5 straight years of brilliance, or so we thought. Want the full story on that collapse? We covered it in our video, The Finals That Changed NBA History. It's on the channel. The pressure was growing. Would Steph Curry be able to validate his legacy with the missing Finals MVP trophy? Here's the strange kicker. If LeBron puts up these numbers with no help, he's praised. If Kobe drops 30 a night with a broken squad, he's a warrior. When Curry does it, the media shrugs. They still ask if he's really that guy. Why? Because he plays the right way, lets others shine. In 2019, there was no one left to shield him. And still he nearly dragged a broken team to the brink of greatness. One shot, just inches off from forcing Game 7. No Finals MVP, not even close. This wasn't a snub. It was the most heroic failure of his career. And it only made the shadow of that missing trophy even darker. The noise got louder. What is Steph Curry's legacy without a Finals MVP trophy? Sure, plenty of great players never won it all, but this was different. Steph was a 2-time NBA's most valuable player. In 2016, he became the first unanimous MVP in NBA history. He had 3 rings and still no finals recognition. A legacy paradox, unexplainable and impossible to ignore. Would Steph still get another chance to prove his doubters were wrong? By 2022, Steph Curry wasn't supposed to be on top again. The league had moved on. Jason Tatum was flying, Luka was rising, Giannis had already won his ring, and Jokic was dominating. But deep in San Francisco, the Warriors were reloading. Klay was back, Draymond was healthy, and Steph, he wasn't smiling anymore. This wasn't about proving he could still shoot. This was about everything he hadn't won. The Warriors entered the 2022 playoffs as the number 3 seed. No longer feared, not favored. Curry had just returned from a foot sprain. In Game 2 versus rising Denver and Jokic, he dropped 34 points in 23 minutes. That's the fewest minutes ever for a 30-plus point game in playoff history. That's when it started. The grin. The night-night celebration. Steph wasn't just back. He was hunting. Against Memphis, it got personal. The young Grizzlies were trash-talking nonstop. Draymond got ejected. Dillon Brooks broke Gary Payton II's elbow. But Steph, he answered with poise. In Game 4, he scored 18 in the fourth quarter, alone to steal a must-win. Then in Game 6, he buried them and tucked them into bed. Another night-night. Then came Dallas in Western Conference Finals. Luka was the new Phenom. But Curry dissected them. He didn't just score, he orchestrated. Hit dagger threes, dished, rebounded, won the first ever Western Conference Finals MVP unanimously. And now it was set. If you've made it this far, you're one of us. Hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps us keep bringing deep NBA stories to life. The 2022 Finals against the league's best defense. The Boston Celtics. Felt like Curry's final test. 5 trips, 3 rings, still no Finals MVP. This time, it had to be him. Boston was built to counter exactly what Steph does best with elite help defense, switch-heavy pressure and physicality. But when the series began, it was clear. Curry was locked in. At 34, he played with maturity, fire, and urgency. He averaged 31.2 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists over 6 games, and led all scorers in the first 4 games, a feat not seen since Michael Jordan in '98. In Game 4, with the Warriors trailing 2-1 in the series and facing a hostile Boston crowd, Curry dropped 43 points and 10 boards. A legacy game. One of the greatest finals performances in modern history. That night, the conversation changed. Forever. Curry wasn't just the best scorer, he was the system. He pulled defenders 35 feet from the rim, broke every coverage Boston threw at him, and still led all players in advanced metrics like box, plus, minus, and game score. By Game 6, there was no debate. The Warriors closed it out, and Curry won the Finals MVP unanimously. The award he should have had years ago was finally his. And this time, nobody could take it from him. As the buzzer sounded, Curry fell to his knees, overcome. For fans, it was more than a trophy. It was vindication. And now he joined that circle of dynastic finals greats. Magic, Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, Duncan. There is nothing left to question. Stephen Curry is not just a champion. He's a 2-times MVP, 4-times champion, and now the finals' most valuable player. And the legacy? Bulletproof. Steph Curry was doubted, overshadowed, snubbed when he played the right way instead of chasing the spotlight. And for years, the narrative was simple. Yeah, but he never won that last missing trophy, Finals MVP. Until 2022, when he finally raised the trophy and shut everyone up. So let's settle it right now. Was Steph robbed in 2015? Should he have won over KD in 2018? Where does his 2022 run rank among all-time finals performances? Drop your take in the comments, and if you're still betting on Steph to shock the world again, smash that like button and subscribe for deep NBA stories every single week. This was Steph's moment, and we're here to tell it right.